We are live here in Windsor to celebrate the marriage of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Thank you so much for joining us on this Facebook Live. Do get involved. Let us know what you thought of the ceremony, what you thought of Meghan Markle's dress, the guests that were in attendance today. And if you have any questions, I'm very pleased to tell you that I have a fashion stylist with me, someone who's worked at Vogue magazine, Harper's Bazaar and InStyle. But as you can see right now, the crowds are jubilant. They're getting ready. They're waiting for that moment that many have been camping out for days for. It's the moment that the happy couple take their carriage procession through the streets of Windsor. They will pass us here on the High Street, then onto Sheep Street, then on King's Road, Albert Road, and then they'll make the turn to the Long Walk, which is a very long stretch of pavement, or road if you like. It's about 3 miles long, and it goes straight up to the gates of Windsor Castle. I've been told that the Long Walk was constructed by King Edward II, and it was constructed through a former Norman hunting forest, so there's lots of lush greenery on either side, and you may have seen from the pictures that that is where hundreds of people have gathered today, and many hundreds more are here on Windsor High Street, where we are as well. Many thanks for your questions and comments on Facebook this afternoon on a beautiful day in Windsor. Elvis Anderson says, I loved this wedding. Al is watching from Colorado Springs. And Mary says, Meghan was a beautiful bride. Shadia Alexan, congratulations to the Prince and Meghan. So thank you very much. Keep your comments and questions coming in. So, of course, after a long wait, after a lot of speculation, we finally got to see Meghan Markle and that dress. And joining me now to talk about it is Basma Khalifa, fashion stylist who's worked at Vogue, as I said, InStyle magazine, Harper's Bazaar, just to name a few. Basma, thank you so much for joining us in Windsor today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So the dress that everyone was waiting to see, we saw it.
I mean, we did see it, and actually, I kind of predicted that was the way it was going to go. I sort of said from the beginning, it's not going to be lacy, it's going to be quite like calm and demure, and that kind of was what it was. And she looked amazing, like the elegance.
She looked absolutely beautiful, and we can see pictures of Meghan Markle now leaving the car just before she was about to go inside to the chapel, looking radiant, and that tiara as well, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, the tiara and that veil. It was actually really long. I think maybe longer than Kate Middleton's, I'm not too sure, but it looked like it just kind of like went on for miles, which I think when you have such an elegant dress, I think the impact was within the tiara and in the veil. I thought it was amazing.
And we all thought, you know, the names that were being bandied about for the designer of the dress, we thought at one point it was Ralph and Russo, Jenny Packham, Giles Deacon were other names that were mentioned, but it was someone that wasn't on anyone's radar, it seems.
No, it wasn't on anyone's radar, but it's also not a shock. Clare Waight Keller used to be the fashion designer for Chloe and took the helm of Givenchy as artistic director last year. So, you know, she's sought after, and it's really modern. It's a really modern thing to do. You wouldn't think of Givenchy being something that she'd do. And Clare Waight Keller has a taste that's quite elegant and it's quite soft, and that's what the house of Chloe was before she moved. So it's not surprising, and it's just so pretty. So it's totally fine. I think it's kind of still what we expected.
What did you think about the material? Because it looked quite thick, didn't it?
It did look quite thick. I don't really mind the material. I think everything expected it to be a little bit more sheer, but you know, you almost want the structure of a dress, and because she wasn't doing lace, it had to be a bit of a thicker material so it would fit to her body a bit better. So I think it's great. I love it.
A couple of people that were watching the pictures coming out from the chapel were mentioning the fact that Kate was wearing white as well.
I don't think it is white. I think it's yellow. Is it not like...
I thought it was cream. I actually thought it was more of a cream colour.
Did you? I think it's yellow. I think we kind of need to have a bit of a check on that.
Yeah, we definitely do. And of course, you know, we've talked about Meghan's amazing dress and the fact that she just looked so beautiful, and they just kept staring at each other, and it was so touching, wasn't it?
It's just, you can tell that they're in love, and you can tell that it's just like, yes, like we get to do this. I think you know what love is when you see two people and there's a million people, you know, there and a million people watching, but for them, billions of people, for them it was just like, it's just us.
And what about her makeup? It was, I loved the fact that you could see the freckles on her face. It was a very natural, fresh-faced look, wasn't it?
It was just so, you know, the first word that comes to my mind is it was calming. The whole thing was, she was just so calm. If anything, Harry kind of looked a bit more hot flustered than she did. She just kind of carried herself. She kind of like swanned in with her elegant face and her elegant makeup, and I just think...
I heard someone describe her as, you know, she kind of looking like an Audrey Hepburn type of a figure.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that, actually. It is kind of that kind of level of ethereal, isn't it, where she kind of looked as she was carrying herself that way. I don't know, I feel like she took it like a duck to water. It looked like she was meant to be there, and that was her rightful place, and that's kind of what you want, someone who can hold her own amongst this mayhem that's going on today and still be like, this is still my day.
And a mum as well, her mum, she had like tears in her eyes, and I was wiping the tears away from my eyes watching her. Such an emotional moment for her.
Mum, I was crying when Mum was crying. Like, I think that's it. I think for any woman, when you see your mum cry, you kind of cry. And I just think, yeah, I love Mum. Love Mum and love the Queen.
Oh, the Queen. Now, the Queen's outfit, that was amazing. What a colour.
Nothing less from Queenie.
Absolutely.
I just love that. Yeah, the green, the fluorescent green, wasn't it? Which I think was lovely because Mum was in sort of kind of quite a pastel-y green, and the Queen just came out all guns blazing with her fluorescent. And I expect that from the Queen at this point. I expect her to come out with something a bit punchy and be like, yeah, I'm going to own this in my 90s.
So guys, you're listening to this, you're watching us and listening to us live from Windsor on the day that Prince Harry has married the American actress Meghan Markle in an absolutely beautiful ceremony. Do get your comments and questions into us. I'm speaking to Basma Khalifa, who is a fashion stylist who has been watching the proceedings today. And so if you have any questions about Meghan's dress or the Queen's outfit or any other fashion-related questions, do get them into us. Julie White says, great service, refreshing, and carried a wonderful message. Congratulations to the happy couple. Andy Cross, beautiful, loved watching this magnificent day. Congratulations to both of you. Melanie says, wishing them peace, love, and happiness. Congratulations. Thank you so much for getting involved on this Facebook Live today. Subhani says, Meghan looks beautiful with Prince Harry. Wonderful to watch. Now, the pictures that you're seeing now, we are waiting for the royal procession, the open carriage procession that Harry and Meghan are going to be taking now around the streets of Windsor in a few moments' time. Hopefully we will get to see the carriage pass us. Very, very exciting day, and what an absolutely amazing atmosphere it's been.
It's just been so nice. I think also the weather plays a huge part, doesn't it? Everyone is kind of in their, you know, in their shorts and their t-shirts and their little dresses, and you know, you can't be annoyed. If you were here, I wish you could soak up the atmosphere the way we are. It's just so, everyone is just so happy, and it's such a peaceful environment. Even the police were dancing earlier, so it's nice. It's such a magnificent day.
Absolutely, and I was saying we're live on Facebook. We are actually live also on YouTube as well. So hello to you if you're watching us on YouTube today. Robbie Lee says, congratulations to Prince Harry and Meghan watching in Nuneaton. Love the dress, good luck. Now, of course, the dress, it was just, it blew me away. And you were saying you kind of expected it to be like that. I actually thought it would be more, you know, of a poofy style dress, a meringue.
It was a bit poofy. It wasn't completely straight. It wasn't as, actually, it was more poofy than I thought it would be. It was I kind of actually expected a little bit more of a soft silk. So it's quite nice that it had a sort of princessy feel to it, but kind of her way of being princessy. So I still think, you know, it was true to both forms. It was princessy, but it was still quite her. I
definitely think she cracked the whole princess thing. She looked so beautiful walking down the aisle with Prince Charles.
No, I love that they did that. I think they've done it really, really well. You can't fault this wedding and how they sort of put it together, the way they had elements of her and her background, her heritage, and then elements of him and his background, his heritage. You know, we're still getting married effectively in his home, but she's managed to bring her home to him, which is magical.
And of course, earlier we saw lots of people from the world of Hollywood, the rich and famous, who were in attendance as well. Anybody's outfit that caught your eye?
Serena Williams. I really liked her little pink number. I was quite impressed by that. I quite loved Serena's. And I'm trying to think who else we saw that we were like, Oprah.
Oprah, I can't believe Oprah looked amazing. Amal Clooney's dress was lovely.
But I expected Amal Clooney to kill it. She always kind of, she's the go-to woman for kind of elegance, isn't she? So I'm impressed by her, but I kind of knew it. Whereas Serena, I think, and Oprah in their little pink, amazing. Oh look, something's happening.
Absolutely, the carriage is on the way down now.
Oh, lovely. I also love, because the weather is so beautiful, if you can see it on our cameras, their body shields are like glistening in the sun, like they're catching the sparkles, which just makes it a little bit more magical as well.
It's a perfect day for a royal wedding.
Yeah, it really is.
And they're just about to pass us now, and you can catch a glimpse of Harry and Meghan. Looking so happy. And if you're just tuning into us, you're watching a BBC News Facebook Live and also on YouTube. The Ascot Landau carriage making its way down Windsor High Street. Eventually it will arrive on the long walk which leads straight up to the gates of Windsor Castle. Thank you so much for all your comments and questions. Lots and lots coming through to us. Kazmi says, I expected the dress to be more. Do you think it was a good dress?
I think everyone expected more because everyone wants more. You sort of want the showstopper and you want something that you're almost going to gasp at. But I think what's amazing about Meghan is she's not a gasping kind of person. It's like, I'm going to handle myself and I'm going to be elegant without having to be gaspy, which I quite like about it.
Danielle Santos says this is a revolutionary wedding. What do you make of that?
I completely agree with you. It's a completely revolutionary wedding. I think everything they've managed to implement and how they put everything together, bringing both worlds together, I think was always going to be a bit of a task, and they've done it so perfectly. So yeah, it definitely is revolutionary.
What did you make of the service?
I loved it. I loved the fact that they had, it was quite strong and it was quite a powerful message, and it was quite a modern message. He talked about Facebook and he talked about Instagram, and he sort of he said quite modern things in his little procession. And then I think Also, the fact that they had that gospel choir singing "Stand by Me."
That was so amazing.
I started tearing up. I was just like, this is everything you could possibly want. I think that was probably, that was special.
I mean, I'm a big crier at weddings, but this one really had me in tears. Oh, yeah, I really was hoping that no one would notice, like, when you look away because you don't want anyone to see your tears. Bala Smita says, perfect princess for the perfect prince. Gary says, oh, Harry, your mum would be so proud of you.
And that's, I think, what everyone was thinking. I think there was that element of just like, don't we all wish Diana was here? And it's just, if she is here and how she's looking down this whole day, this day is perfect because she's looking down on him. And I think everything he's ever wanted and probably wanted his mum to be part of, I think is still in his heart, and she is still part of that. And I think that's what's so special about this.
Maria Summers says, the wedding was lovely, very well put together. Hope they have a lot of years together. And now, what can you tell us, Basma, about what we know about the wedding cake, the reception?
Well, actually, what I really like about the wedding cake, so it's made by Violet Cakes, which is actually a bakery in Hackney. The wedding cake maker is from California. She's American, but I quite love that actually there's this bakery in East London, in the industrial parts of East London, that's making a wedding cake for the royal wedding, which is kind of amazing. That it doesn't have to be on this. Not everything has to be on this grand, incredible, huge gesture. The lovely thing about it is saying, I actually really like this cake maker, and I like what she does. She doesn't need to be some sort of famous baker. She's just a normal woman who owns a bakery in East London. Yeah, that's amazing.
An American lady based in Hackney, as you say, and was chosen by Meghan Markle because she didn't want to have a traditional fruit cake. So this is a lemon and elderflower cake with edible flowers. Sounds delicious. And we know that there's going to be a reception hosted by the Queen shortly. And here in Windsor, it's a pretty exciting spectacle to be witnessing. It's a moment in history in the making.
Yeah, and you can totally, we're standing on a balcony right now, and you can totally soak up the atmosphere even from up here. You can tell that people are just like, okay, where do we go next to see them next? And it's kind of, everyone just feels so happy and so, thrilled to be here. And this moment in history will always be remembered because it is that sort of moment when two worlds came together and came together so easily. It was never going to be, I think there was always speculation of, how easy is this going to be, and I think it's just been seamless.
Danielle Santos says this is a fantastic day. Michelle Tamilty says congratulations, Meghan looks beautiful and wishes them a happy life. Lynn is watching from South Africa and says she's loving this whole broadcast. Thank you very much. We are broadcasting to you live on Facebook and on YouTube. Ileana Bazara says Meghan looks beautiful, simple and elegant, just amazing. Evelyn says that's the best wedding gown I've ever seen, simply and beautiful. And I guess the designers of the world are probably hard at work as we speak, trying to make copies of this gown.
Replicating that gown. I actually think that gown is not incredibly hard to replicate. What's nice about it is it is quite elegant and quite simple. But yeah, that is going to be replicated a million times over. Gone is the lace, in comes the satin, and in comes the silks, which is quite nice. Nice little change.
Absolutely. Do keep your comments and questions coming into us. If you've just tuned in, I am joined by fashion stylist Basma Khalifa. She's worked for a number of fashion publications, and she joins us now to talk about the wedding, the ceremony, Meghan's amazing dress. Of course, we've talked so much about Meghan's dress. Harry also looked dapper, didn't he?
Harry, he just looked so nice, and I like that he had a beard and it was well shaped up. I think he was. You could feel the nerves from him. It was oozing from him, but he looked so handsome. He looked great. I loved it.
Sangeen says, congratulations, this is a beautiful, lovely wedding. Hope they have a good life ahead. Rosemary says, we have seen the best of Britain today.
We really, and that is the perfect way to put it, we have literally seen the best of Britain. I don't think we could have asked for any better. This has been so pleasant, and there's Americans and Canadians standing by the British, and everyone's just side by side loving the spectacle. And it's, there's no sort of, he's ours or she's ours in whatever way. It's like, well, we're just bringing everyone together, and I think in the world that we live in, it's just such a nice thing to be able to do and to be able to celebrate.
Now, Jacqueline says, the dress was too plain for a royal wedding.
But did you see that tiara? That was anything but plain. So in order to wear the tiara, you maybe needed for the dress to be a little bit more plain now.
And tell us a bit about the designer.
So Clare Waight Keller is, she came from Chloe, where she was fashion designer for quite a number of years, and she's recently moved to Givenchy just last year as artistic director. And she actually, as soon as I saw that it was Clare Waight Keller, I was thrilled because she's one of my favourite designers. And Chloe, by nature, was always a soft, quite airy, bohemian kind of brand, and moving to Givenchy was such a big change for her because Givenchy is just so much more strong and powerful, and she's been able to sort of like melt the two together and make Givenchy a little bit softer but still powerful, and I think that's what she's done here. I'm not that surprised that it's Clare Waight Keller. I think she would have been on the top of my list. Had I put a bet on, she would have been on the top of my list.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. She's British and she's great and she's very successful and a very pleasant person. I'm not surprised, and I'm glad it's her. She deserves it.
So you're watching live pictures from here in Windsor. We are broadcasting to you live on Facebook and on YouTube. My guest today is Basma Khalifa, a fashion stylist for a number of fashion publications, Vogue and Harper's Bazaar, to name but a few. Do keep your questions and comments coming into us. So, a few little facts about the wedding. Obviously, this occasion, this momentous occasion that hundreds of people have descended on Windsor to celebrate, will bring $1 billion, it's estimated, to the nation's economy. The wedding as a whole, that is, when the effect of extra tourists and merchandising, champagne, wine and food sales is taken into account. And there's no shortage of souvenir shops here on Windsor High Street that have been selling things like bunting and flags and Meghan and Harry masks as well. And did you know, Basma, that to celebrate the wedding, Legoland's Windsor created a 40,000 Lego brick version of Windsor Castle?
No, but can we go? Like,
absolutely.
After we're done, should we go to Legoland? It sounds amazing.
Now, in 2011, when Prince William married Kate, 24 million Britons watched the wedding. And what is the count? I'd love to know that. This is exactly what I was going to say. I wonder what the count is.
Worldwide, I would love to know what this count is.
Now, do you know anything about the tiara that Meghan Markle was wearing?
I don't. There was talk of Meghan wearing Princess Diana's tiara when she got married. I wouldn't be able to say whether that is the tiara. So I don't know much about it, but it was quite a statement tiara, which makes me think it has some sort of meaning. It's just not something that, she picked up at the shops. So I definitely would like to know more about it. But yeah, there was speculation of her wearing something of Princess Diana's, which she might have well done. That information probably just hasn't come out yet, so I'll definitely find out.
Mesba says, good luck, Harry and Meghan. You're both history makers.
They are, of course they're history makers, but any royal's a history maker. By birth you've become a history maker.
But this wedding did feel like something special, like something quite different, didn't it?
Yeah, it was very different, and I think it was always going to be different. I think having Meghan be part of this clan and part of this world was always going to be different, and it's a change. It's a change for our country, and it's a change for theirs. So I definitely think it's the beginning of something new, and hopefully and excitably prosperous, I think.
Edward says, I'm watching this memorable royal wedding on my smartphone in Ghana. Happy wedding. Callum says, absolutely brilliant of Charles to give Meghan away on this truly revolutionary day in the history of royal weddings. Maria Luisa Lopez says, best wishes from Colombia for a lovely royal couple. And Perla says, congrats to them both, but for a royal wedding, the dress is missing something. It's a bit too simple. We've got quite a few comments saying that.
Do you know what? As soon as she stepped out, I was like, everyone's going to think this is too simple. But does she have to sort of live up to the expectation that it was going to be lacy and diamante-esque? And, she doesn't want to do that. She doesn't have to do it, and she didn't want to.
And you actually predicted that was the kind of dress she would be wearing.
I did. From the start, I sort of said, she's not going to wear lace, and she's going to wear sleeves, and she's going to wear a scallop neck, and that's kind of what she did. So I'm not surprised. It's not actually that different from what her actual natural fashion sense is. I think it's just very different, obviously, to what Catherine Middleton wore, and different to what you expect a classic wedding dress to be. But I think the elegance is, part of something new that's happening today.
So Harry and Meghan are heading to St George's Hall for a lunchtime reception hosted by the Queen. Later there will also be an evening reception, I understand, which will be hosted by Prince Charles. Thank you very much for all your comments and questions, by the way. So many of them. I'd love to mention you all. Kelly says hello from Perth. Congratulations to the happy couple. Andrea says, this looks like a happy occasion. Awesome. God bless from the Netherlands to the UK.
Can I also just say, I feel like Stand By Me by Ben King is now going to be the most played wedding song.
That is a very good point.
That song is going to sell out now. Everyone's going to want that song.
It just seemed so right.
So right, and the gospelness of it, the whole thing. I think when I was in the room, we were watching it in the room downstairs, and as soon as it came on, you just heard this level of like, oh, and everyone just sort of swayed side by side, and there's something really sweet about that. And I predict that song will definitely be on a lot of people's wedding list for anyone getting married this year.
Rachel Carter Eagleton says Meghan looked amazing. She shone like a diamond, and she really did. I mean, you were just saying earlier that when she stepped out of the car and she was walking down the aisle, she just looked like she just was made for this role.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like part of it, she just acted like it was just like a normal day. She was just like so calm, and you couldn't see the jitters and you couldn't see the stress. I mean, you could see it on Harry's face. And for Meghan, she was just kind of like, I've got this. And there's something so amazing about that, and also so reassuring. I think for us, not knowing her that well, we've only really known her in the public eye for, let's say, a year and a bit, that it's nice that the way she carried herself sort of gives us a level of trust in her that she's got this. And I think that's really nice for the British public to feel as well.
And the newlyweds shared a little kiss on the steps of St George's Chapel as onlookers cheered.
Oh, did they?
And they just both looked adorable during the service. They kept looking at each other, and he looked at her, and at one point he said, "You look amazing," because you literally could tell that that's what he was saying.
It was so sweet. And I think that's the thing about Meghan and Harry, and it has been from the beginning, when they did their interview, when they first announced their engagement, they sort of, so many things that they said about them as a couple, which was, they went to Botswana together, and they have a little cottage together, and, they've been out of the public eye for at least 6 months, which in this day and age is unheard of. And I think that's the thing about them. They're very much kind of stick to themselves and kind of do their own thing, which I think is really hard to do in our social media age. So you could tell even on the wedding and sitting there side by side, they were like, it's cool, we've got each other and we've got this, and something so lovely about that.
Any indication as to where they might go on honeymoon?
Africa. They seem to love Africa. I feel like that's what
Namibia, Botswana.
Yeah, and they'd be the kind of couple that'd be like, shall we not sit on the beach, or shall we go and save the world? I feel like they're that couple, and they definitely will, and that's kind of what's amazing about them as well.
Singer Joss Stone, who's a friend of Prince Harry, who attended the ceremony, has tweeted, "Congratulations to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex on their beautiful wedding day."
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex. I don't even think that was announced until earlier today, that they would be the Duke. They would be that, and I think it's amazing. Also, that's a big thing of this wedding, that there were so many celebrities and no heads of state, which I really loved about it. I think the most interesting thing that they did, that there was no sort of world leaders, and there was no parliament, and there was no politics about it. And I think when this is actually quite a political statement, bringing two countries together to say, that's what we're doing, but that isn't everything. And I think that's what's exciting about this.
Lavinia says that was a beautiful wedding, it was great. Gay says, forget the dress, look at the crown.
Look at the crown. That's what I'm saying, that it's fine that the dress was so plain, because there was a tiara on her head that you could not miss. So I think it's totally fine.
Many thanks for joining us here in Windsor. We are coming to you live for a Facebook Live, and also on YouTube. Do keep your questions and comments coming into us. And we'll do our very best to give you a mention and to answer your questions as well.
As we look out into the crowd, also what's really nice about this is you can see so many different people that are sort of like, okay, what can we do next and where can we go? I don't think that they're coming back up this way, but everyone's watching as if they are. So potentially, I don't really know. I think the crowd's kind of dispersing a little bit and seeing where else to go next. But because the weather's so lovely, it's now, as I look down, people are just taking selfies and taking pictures and just sort of soaking up the sun a little bit and listening to the church bells. But it's all been so well organised, and even the police, everyone's just been so willing to get along, which is such a nice thing to see.
Irene says Meghan looked absolutely beautiful, loved the dress, they make a lovely couple. Samantha says, what a blessed ceremony, so much love and Holy Spirit, and she is beautiful, so happy for them. Thank you so much for all your comments and questions, and what a beautiful day we've had today.
Oh my goodness, could we ask for a better day? This is the perfect kind of sun. It's not too hot and it's not too cold, and everyone can just kind of have a lovely day and hopefully be wearing sunscreen. But yeah, we're very, very lucky with this day. We're very lucky at how it's turned out.
And we're watching pictures now of the procession from earlier. A truly magical moment, a kind of moment in history, if you like. History in the making.
I know, and also I'm a bit like, is that it? I want to do it again. Like, I said earlier when we were talking, we kind of don't have this now until the little ones get older and get married. Until George, this is kind of it. This is our last royal wedding, maybe of our generation. We're going to have to wait another 30 years.
Louise Jones, talking about the younger royals, thought Princess Charlotte was very cute.
Very cute. I also liked that there was a bunch of kids and they all played their role very well, and there was no falling over, and there was nothing that happened. It just was all very sweet. And I think what's lovely about Meghan is that instead of including she didn't really have bridesmaids and as such, she just had lots of beautiful little children, which was just so lovely to have.
And there was that moment, wasn't there, where one of the page boys holding her
God,
veil was
so
caught on camera making the most adorable face. He was clearly so excited to be there, and you could see it in his face.
I know, and he had his little missing teeth, and everyone was just like, oh, that's so cute. And that's the thing. I think that's an amazing thing about having kids at any event, is you just don't know what's going to happen. But the fact that they walked so easily and so nicely, and everyone was just so... kids are so funny to have at these kind of events because they kind of make it, and that's kind of what was so nice about it.
Paul Winter says, what an amazing royal wedding. They planned it perfectly in terms of service, attendees and military representation. Well done, Harry and Meghan. And you were saying, weren't you, about how this wedding didn't have any heads of state. It had lots of famous people instead, and members of the public and people who work in charities that the couple are involved with. They were also allowed to enter the grounds of Windsor Castle and celebrate with them.
Yeah, and I love that she had her cast members from Suits. It was something so nice about that I was like, oh, remember those guys from Suits? And that's kind of what was nice about it. It was just them, and it was just their friends, and they just got to have a good time instead of making it nothing was too serious about this wedding, which I think is what really Harry is all about. He's not, he's obviously serious when he needs to be, but I think he's young at heart, and so is she. So it was just nice to have friends and not make this a huge, big political statement. Let's just say two people are in love and they can get married and live happily ever after.
Niranjan says, it must be quite an experience being there. What is it like being in Windsor?
It's pretty intense, I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of people everywhere, but actually it's got an intensity about it that's quite calming, because there's no rush of people. There's a lot of people, but there's no rushing around. Everyone, as we're looking out now, are just sitting down, they're sitting on benches, people are eating ice cream, kids are waving their flags. It's a moment not to be missed.
You can hear the church bells ringing. It is very calming, isn't it? There's so many people here, but there's kind of a serenity in the air.
There definitely is, and I just think that's kind of what the royal wedding has always done. It did it, for William and Kate. It's always been that thing of just like, this is just a happy occasion of two people just, getting married, and that's kind of all it needs to be. And I think if you look out into the crowd, hopefully you can see it's just so many people just like having a nice time and chatting, and they're dressed up, and I think right now you can see the amazing man that's just kind of painted head to toe and is wearing a lot of clothing, an Indian man, and he looks amazing. And I just think that's the fun of this as well. It's cultures and people from all walks of life that are here.
And we're seeing pictures of Meghan getting out of her car now in that amazing dress, and that was the first moment that we got to see the dress that everybody was waiting for. And what a dress.
I know, literally waiting with bated breath, wasn't it? Everyone was just like, it's the dress, it's the moment of the dress. And I think it's so funny that, people don't take fashion as seriously as they should, because after all of this fanfare and everything that's happening today, it came down to the dress. There was nothing that could have mattered more than probably the Queen, her mum, and the dress. I think even Harry, it was great that he was there, but really it was about Meghan.
In fact, lots of comments coming in about the dress. It's something that you are really interested in talking about, and why not? Why not take advantage of the fact that we have a fashion stylist with us in Windsor today? Hannah says, Meghan is an elegant and charismatic bride with a lovely smile. Samson says, congratulations to the happy couple from Somaliland. Jeanette Barrow says, the dress is uniquely hers. The looks between each other, that they were theirs alone, and their wedding was intimate, and their special day, it was beautifully done. And those kind of like glances at each other that they were giving one another inside, it was just so adorable.
And I think there's something incredibly amazing about that ability to do that. The ability of the billions of people that are watching this and the millions of people that are here today, and you can still make it the most intimate moment possible. And I think that's a credit to them and a credit to their relationship.
Yeah, that moment when he says to Meghan, you look amazing. We could all tell that he said that.
Yeah.
And then she just giggled and looked so shy and looked away. It was like, oh my gosh.
Our hearts, everyone, we watched it with relatively a group of women, some men, so there was just a lot of kind of like, and it's just a lot of emotions, really, wasn't it?
And what about Meghan's mum? She looked amazing as well, didn't she?
I loved Mum. Really, really loved her. She carried it, and she effectively, because of circumstances, came on her own, and she very much held herself together, and she just looked so beautiful. And this is, we don't disregard how overwhelming this is probably for her. Her daughter just became a princess overnight, and it's kind of incredible that happened, but also for her probably super overwhelming. But she looked like she handled it really well, except for those small little tears that you could sort of see. Yeah, I loved Mum. Loved her.
Yeah, me too. And seeing Mum with tears in her eyes, it had me welling up as well. Manon says, it's so lovely to be celebrating a happy, joyous occasion. Sue Moyo says, congratulations, what a wonderful dress. Cynthia also says, all the best from Texas. Stella says, congratulations from Mayo, Ireland. Long and happy life to the beautiful couple. Niranjan Paul says, what is it like being in Windsor?
Windsor is pretty ecstatic today. There's serenity, as we said earlier, but I'm definitely glad I'm here. I just think it's such an incredible moment to be part of, and everyone's just so happy and so calm, and
yeah, everyone's really happy.
So
like
calm.
Smiley faces. Everyone just seems so excited to be here, and it's kind of infectious, isn't it? That.
Yeah, and I think that is the joy of our royals, and the joy of having them is that we get to celebrate things like this, and we get to do things like this, which is amazing. Oh, we can hear. What can we hear?
There's something that appears to be happening.
Something in the distance.
Do keep your comments and questions coming into us. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a Facebook Live for BBC News on Facebook and on YouTube.
Oh, here comes the band.
So this is a pretty exciting and amazing piece of history that we're watching right now.
It is, it definitely is. We've just had the marching bands and the military service and all those people who I didn't see in there. I don't really know where they came out of. I think that's the beauty in being part of such a huge castle, is you don't know where all these people are. But it was a beautiful procession that just happened with marching band, and everyone's sort of marching out now, and I think leading their way to the royal family. And that will probably be the end, I guess, here at Windsor, unless anything else is happening here that we don't know about. We'll have to go to where they are.
Absolutely, we need to know where the action is next. Thank you so much for your comments and questions. Do keep them coming into us. You're listening to me, Rosina Sini, for BBC News, and joining me is Basma Khalifa, a fashion stylist who's worked for various fashion publications. And we've got a prime spot here on Windsor High Street. We've been here all day for the royal wedding. Prince Harry married Meghan Markle earlier today, and we saw pictures of the happy couple in their open-top carriage make their way through the streets of Windsor, waving to the crowds. People from all over the world have gathered here in Windsor to celebrate. Barbara says, absolutely loved the American additions to the ceremony. Beautiful.
So there was lots of amazing Americans, and also our favourite Americans. You know, we're all about being British, but most of our TV is American superstars and Hollywood stars, and it's quite cool to see Hollywood stars. I mean, Oprah was there. Oprah was at the wedding, which is, you know, it's Oprah.
And we can see pictures of the couple leaving the church now. It was truly spectacular, amazing scenes, and I feel like there's so much excitement, jubilance in the air. Everyone is so happy, smiling, and genuine happiness for the couple, for their future. What do you think is going to happen now for the couple as they move forward as man and wife?
Well, I think first of all they just got to take a break from this wedding mayhem. I think not only, you know, for any couple getting married, it's sort of like a year of wanderlust while you go through all these different things. And I think now it just, you know, I bet they're probably just going to have this party tonight and then go home and sort of look at each other and be like, whew, we did it and we're done, and let's actually get on with our lives now and maybe take a bit of time out of the limelight and just go on holiday and have some time to themselves. Because, you know, this was such a big lead up, and I think obviously, you know, he is the last one and the last one of Diana's boys, and, you know, it sort of feels like they've come full circle and we're kind of done now. You know, we've got them both married off. Let's see if they bring little royal little princes and
princesses. Funny you should mention Princess Diana. Lots of people mentioning her in the comments and questions. Horace says, congratulations, Prince Harry, and you and your very beautiful wife Meghan. Wishing you both a long and happy life. Hira Salim says, I loved how Meghan was wearing minimal makeup and simplicity in her dress. Her makeup was amazing. And the fact that you could see the freckles on her face, she looked made up, but not made up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's super important. I mean, it's, you know, Meghan in the end, it does come from two different worlds and two different cultures within herself before she's even, you know, joining this one. So it's so nice that, you know, she didn't cake on loads of makeup, and you could see her freckles and you could see a sign of her, you know, her dual heritage. And it's quite lovely about Meghan that she is so proud to be from the world she's part of, and then proud to be joining the world she's going to be part of. And I think that was evident in the ceremony with having the people who led it and then having the gospel choir, that it was sort of, you know, a bit of everyone, which is ideal. It's what kind of what you want from a wedding.
Janet says she was quite tearful when Harry and William walked together. It would have been lovely with their mum with them, but it was a beautiful wedding. Congratulations to a lovely couple. Well done. Because we saw those pictures as well, didn't we, of Harry and his brother walking down, and they both looked so excited and happy.
Yeah, and you know what? Their mum is definitely looking down on them. I don't think there's any doubt in that her presence is here and it's felt and it's known. And I think Meghan from the very beginning has made it very evident that she plans to, you know, keep the memory of her mother-in-law, and that is hugely important to our country, Princess Diana, and hugely part of their story as well. So I definitely think she's here in spirit, and I think everyone can feel that.
Makara says it was an amazing wedding. Saida says Meghan is really beautiful. Her smile is great. She looks so well, and she is very good looking. Now, according to a lip reader, Tina Lannin, when the newlywed couple stopped midway down the West Steps, there was a moment of uncertainty over their first kiss as husband and wife. Meghan discreetly asked Harry, "Do we kiss?" To which Harry quietly replied, "Yeah."
And fair enough to ask, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't practice the kiss.
But I love the fact that, you know, something that has been planned so well, like the royal wedding, there was still this element of,
do we? Do
right.
we not? Do we? And there's something quite sweet about that. Like, do we kiss? Do we do it now? And also, that's kind of that hesitancy did happen for William and Kate as well. They were on top of the balcony, and there was that element of like, do we do it now? Do we not do that? So it's kind of the same thing. It's quite sweet.
Absolutely. So I'm just wondering whether there's any other spectacles that are going to be exiting from the grounds of Windsor Castle, because watching the marching band a few moments ago, that was pretty exciting. We weren't actually expecting that.
Have they not emptied this place by now? How many more people are in Windsor Castle that we don't know about? But I feel like if we are now looking out in the crowd, people are very much watching, which means they're watching for something, which means something is going to happen next. You know, everyone's kind of looking out at the road, so I guess there's more things coming out of Windsor Castle. We'll soon find out.
Now, if you're just joining us, you're watching a Facebook Live for BBC News, live on Facebook and on YouTube. Harry and Meghan are now man and wife, and they were married earlier today in St George's Chapel, which is in the grounds of Windsor Castle that you can see right now. We finally got to see Meghan's beautiful dress. Her veil was 5 meters long, in fact, and it had a trim of hand-embroidered flowers in silk threads and organza.
Oh, so nice. It just all sounds so nice and so elegant. I love that. I love that the veil was so long.
It really, I think it added that touch of princessiness.
Yeah.
I know that's not a word, but you know what I mean. She looked like a princess when she was walking down the aisle.
Yeah, and I think that's how she did it. I think the dress was elegant and just, you know, quite calm and quite sweet. And I think what happened next was she was like, okay, well, I'll add a knockout veil to this, and then everyone will get their little punchy moment that they want. And I think she managed to do both. I mean, that veil was so long and so amazing that I think, you know, I think it would have needed quite a simple dress to go with it.
I'm still quite shocked about the fact that we didn't know who this designer was, or I certainly did not have this name on my radar when everybody was guessing what designer she was going to wear. I had heard Giles Deacon, Jenny Packham, Ralph Russo. None of those names, in fact.
No, also I would have to fact check myself, but Clare Waight Keller has designed a number of dresses for different, quite important occasions. So this isn't her first thing she's ever done. I definitely know she's done a lot of other important occasions. So yeah, for me, but then I'm a fashion girl at heart, so I you know, as soon as it was announced, I was like, oh yeah, okay, fair enough, that makes sense. But yeah, I'm not surprised that, you know, I think it's very her. I think it's very her what she's kind of done, and I think Clare Waight Keller has, you know, encapsulated that perfectly, and I think that's what's kind of perfect about it.
Carlene Jenkins says she doesn't need makeup to look beautiful. Meghan was born beautiful.
What a statement. And I think Harry feels the same.
I think he does, Carlene. Thank you so much for your comment. Jacqueline says, thanks for letting others share in your most meaningful day. With the internet, all the world is now stage. Wishing the couple only joy, divine blessings and grace. A lovely note to end on, I think.
I know, that's a beautiful note to end on. I love that. And I think that's it. It was graceful, it was elegant, it was just, it's everything that I think everyone wanted. And that's what today is, everything that everyone wanted. And then we got it. And we got it on a beautiful summer's day as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this Facebook Live. Many thanks for all your comments and questions. And you can get more details about the royal wedding from the BBC News website.